They laughed at me. At a family dinner. My husband smiled while they called me dramatic, so I stayed quiet because the lawyer was already on his way. By the time the roast hit the table, I already knew how the night would end. Not because I could predict the future, because I'd lived this pattern long enough to recognize the setup. My mother-in-law smiled like a hostess in a magazine. My father-in-law talked about interest rates like he was proud of them. Ethan sat beside me in that calm, practiced way, relaxed shoulders, gentle hand on my chair, the face of a man who wanted to look innocent. His sister leaned over her wine glass and asked, almost sweetly, "So, are we still doing this little drama about money?" Ethan's smile didn't move, but his eyes flicked to me, a warning dressed as patience. I set my fork down slowly. "It's not drama," I said. "There's a loan I never signed." The room paused, just long enough for them to choose their side. My mother-in-law laughed first. "Oh, honey," she sighed, like I'd said the sky was green. "Ethan would never do something like that." Ethan nodded once, like he was trying to calm a child. "Babe, we already talked about this." "We didn't," I replied, still quiet. His sister rolled her eyes. "You're saying he forged your signature? Seriously?" I looked around the table and felt the familiar heat of humiliation rise in my chest. Everyone watching, everyone ready to label me. So I did what they didn't expect. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't defend myself. I let the silence sit there until it got uncomfortable. Ethan leaned back, relaxed, and gave a small shrug. "She's been stressed," he said gently. "It's been a tough month." A tough month, like stress magically creates bank letters. My father-in-law finally spoke, calm and heavy. "If you're accusing my son, you better have proof." Ethan's hand slipped into his jacket pocket, like he'd been waiting for that line. He pulled out. The doorbell rang once. Clean, confident. Ethan's smile twitched, like it had to work harder to stay alive. "Who is that?" his mother asked, already irritated, as if even the doorbell was being dramatic. I stood up calmly. "Someone I invited." Ethan moved with me, fast. "Babe, don't." I didn't run, I didn't snap. I simply walked to the door and opened it. A man in a charcoal suit stood there holding a slim folder and a sealed envelope. Not flashy, not loud, just certain. "Ms. Carter?" he asked. "Yes. I'm David Lynn, attorney. You emailed me the documents." Ethan's mother made a sound like a cough. "A lawyer? For what?" David's eyes flicked toward the dining room, taking in the faces, the tension, the staged calm of my husband. "May I come in?" Ethan stepped into the doorway. Polite smile, hard eyes. "This is a family dinner." David didn't raise his voice. "Then it should be simple. 5 minutes." Ethan's mother waved him in like she was doing him a favor. "Fine, let's end this nonsense." David walked to the table and placed the sealed envelope down gently, like it had weight beyond paper. Ethan's sister leaned forward, smirking. "So you're here because she thinks she didn't sign something." David opened his folder and didn't look at her. He looked at me. "I'm here because you said you didn't authorize a loan, and because the filing dates you sent are interesting." Ethan's smile stayed fixed. "Filing dates? Come on, she's confused. She forgets things." David nodded once, as if acknowledging a familiar tactic. "I'm going to ask a few questions. Please answer, even if you think they're obvious." He turned a page. "Ms. Carter, what is your date of birth?" I answered. "Do you have a copy of your driver's license?" he asked. I handed it to him. Ethan's mother scoffed. "This is ridiculous." David compared the license signature to the signature. David didn't tear the envelope open fast. He opened it like a surgeon, calm, careful, like he already knew where it would hurt. He pulled out 3 pages and placed them on the table in a neat row. Ethan leaned back, trying to look bored. "This is all so dramatic," he said, but his voice was a little thinner now. David ignored the performance. "This is a preliminary verification packet," he said, "from the lender's fraud review team. I requested it after seeing the dates." My mother-in-law scoffed. "Fraud review? That's not a crime, that's paperwork." David nodded slightly. Sometimes it becomes a crime when the paperwork lies. He pointed to the first page. This loan was initiated online, not in person. The application records a device fingerprint. Ethan's jaw tightened. David slid the page closer so everyone could see the line in bold. Device, iPad mini. Login, Ethan Carter. Authorized user. Time, 4:16 p.m. His sister blinked hard, like she was reading wrong. My father-in-law went quiet, real quiet, the way men do when they're starting to calculate damage. Ethan laughed once. That proves nothing. We have an iPad. We don't, I said calmly. David didn't argue. He just moved to the next page. This is the IP location used to submit the final signature packet. He tapped the address. It wasn't Miami. It wasn't the notary's county. It was our home Wi-Fi network. My mother-in-law's face changed just a flicker, then she forced it back into anger. Anyone can use Wi-Fi, she snapped. Maybe she did it. David's tone stayed flat. She was on a flight at that time. She has boarding confirmation. And this IP is tied to the device logged in as Ethan. Ethan's jaw tightened. Then David placed the third page down, slower. My mother-in-law recovered first. She always did. Her face hardened into offense, like being caught was something happening to her. This is a misunderstanding, she said sharply. Ethan was trying to manage finances. He was helping. You're making it ugly. I didn't respond. I just watched her choose the word helping like it could erase forged. Ethan leaned forward, voice soft, eyes desperate. Babe, listen, I was going to tell you. I just needed time. Time for what? I asked quietly. To move money into your mom's account? His sister's eyes flicked to the page again, account ending 2241, like she was hoping it would change if she stared long enough. David stayed calm. There's one more item, he said, and it's important because it answers the question everyone is avoiding, how your signature was finalized. Ethan's jaw tightened. We've done enough. David didn't argue. He simply turned a page and slid a printed transcript toward me. This lender uses identity verification when a signature is completed. It's not perfect, but it logs the method. My father-in-law leaned in, reading, his brow tightening. David pointed to the center of the page. The verification used here was voice confirmation. The room went silent, like the air had been removed. My stomach dropped. Voice confirmation? I repeated. David nodded. A short phrase is recorded and matched against the applicant's voice sample on file, or it's manually accepted if no sample exists. Either way, there is an audio clip associated with the signature. Ethan stood suddenly. This is insane. You can't... Officer calm, David raised one hand. I'm not accusing in this moment. I'm explaining what the lender... Ethan finally lifted his head. His eyes were glossy, but his voice tried to stay smooth, like emotion could soften fraud. I was going to fix it, he said. I swear, I didn't think it would go this far. My mother-in-law snapped. Because she made it go far. She brought a lawyer to dinner like we're criminals? David didn't react to the drama. He looked at Ethan. You said you didn't think it would go far. That implies you knew what it was. Ethan swallowed. I was under pressure. From who? My father-in-law asked, voice low. Ethan's eyes flicked to his mother for half a second, so fast most people would miss it. I didn't. His mother's face hardened. Don't you dare, she hissed. Ethan rushed to cover himself. No, that's not... I mean pressure from everything. Bills, life. She doesn't understand. I leaned forward slightly, calm. Don't tell them what I don't understand. Tell them who recorded my voice. Ethan's mouth opened, then closed like the truth was too heavy to pick up. David lifted one finger. There's a call log tied to the verification, he said, quietly. When the voice clip was submitted, the lender system logged the originating number. Ethan stiffened. David slid a printed page across the table. This is from the lender, not from your account. My eyes found the line immediately. Originating call, 2:11 a.m. Number, Nora's line. The room narrowed around that number. Ethan's sister whispered, "What is that?" My mother-in-law's face drained of color. She grabbed her water glass like it could keep her steady. Ethan tried to speak, but no sound came out. Because now, the night... David didn't look impressed by Ethan's pleading. He looked like a man counting consequences. "There's one more page," he said, sliding a fresh printout across the table. "It shows what happened after the signature was confirmed." My mother-in-law scoffed, but her fingers tightened around her glass. David tapped a line in the middle. Disbursement status? Completed. Time? 2:32 a.m. Destination? Account ending 2241. The same account. Her account. My father-in-law's face went hard. "Completed?" he repeated, slower. "So the money is already in your account?" My mother-in-law's voice rose instantly. "It's not like that. It's a family account." Ethan jumped in, too fast. "Dad, listen. This was temporary. We were fixing cash flow. We were protecting the house." I stared at him. "By putting a loan in my name?" His eyes flicked away. "I was going to pay it back before you even noticed." David's tone stayed calm. "That's not how fraud works. Intent doesn't erase method." Ethan leaned toward me again, lowering his voice like he could pull me back into old habits. "Please, don't let them turn on me." My father-in-law stood up so sharply the chair scraped. "Don't talk to her like that," he snapped. For the first time all night, someone blocked Ethan instead of me. Ethan's eyes tracked my face, trying to read what I'd just read. "Who was that?" he asked quickly. I turned my phone face down. "No one." He flinched at the lie, not because I lied, but because he wasn't used to me doing it calmly. David leaned toward me. "Don't respond in the room," he said quietly. "If it's who we think it is, every word matters." My mother-in-law snapped. "No more secrets. Give me the phone." I didn't move. My father-in-law's voice came low and final. "Enough." Ethan's sister looked like she might cry. "Is that Nora?" Ethan stood too fast. "There is no Nora," he said, louder than necessary. Then he forced a smile. "This is getting out of hand." David closed his folder and stood. "Ms. Carter, I recommend you leave tonight. This environment is not neutral." Ethan's mother scoffed. "Neutral? This is our family." David didn't argue. Family dynamics don't prevent financial crimes. The word crimes landed differently than loan. Ethan's face tightened. "Stop calling me a criminal." David replied calmly. "I'm calling the act what the lender will call it." Ethan took a step toward me, voice softer now, private. "Please," he whispered, "let's fix this before strangers ruin us." I met his eyes. Strangers didn't do this. His expression flickered. Anger, fear, then a quick attempt at tenderness. "I did it for us." "For you," I corrected, still calm. He leaned closer, voice sharp under the softness. "If you meet her, you'll regret it." My stomach tightened. Meet who? The Cedar Pharmacy parking lot looked ordinary. Bright white lights, empty carts, a couple of cars that didn't belong to anyone who mattered. I parked 2 rows back and waited with my phone in my hand, recording. Screen dim, mic on. Calm face. Loud heartbeat. At 9:40, a small car rolled in and stopped crooked. Nora stepped out slowly. In person, she didn't look powerful. She looked exhausted, like someone who hadn't slept since the night she said my name. She walked toward me with her hands visible, palms open, like she needed me to know she wasn't here to fight. "I'm sorry," she said before anything else. Her voice was the same one that had haunted 2:11 a.m., and now it sounded cracked. I didn't move closer. "Why did you do it?" Her eyes filled, but she didn't cry. "Because he promised it would only be paperwork, and because your mother-in-law called me first." My stomach tightened. My mother-in-law? Nora nodded fast. She said you were too emotional to understand. She said Ethan was protecting the family. Then Ethan called, 211. He put me on speaker and told me exactly what to say. She pulled a burner phone from her pocket with shaking fingers. He recorded the voice clip on my phone. He made me repeat your name until it sounded right. My skin went cold. Nora held the burner out like it was heavy. I saved everything, the drafts, the call times, the messages from his hidden iPad. I took it without flinching, like I was picking up a receipt. And the money? I asked quietly. Nora's lips pressed together.